Alrighty guys, so recently I've had a subscriber, he's been having problems setting up his Stratocaster bridge. What he's telling me is the bridge is slanting upwards like that anytime he tunes up his strings. He says he uses 9s, and so there should not ever be that problem. So, first things first, if you're going to be using a tremolo on your Stratocaster, there's some things you have to do. You never want to have all the springs on the back if you're going to be using the whammy bar, because there's going to be way too much tension on it if you have all 5 springs. So the only springs you really need in the back are this outside one, this middle spring, and this other outside spring. And you want them straight across, because if you have these outside 2 angled inwards, the distance from here to here is just slightly longer than the straight distance from here to here. And so it's just a matter of making everything symmetrical for one, and even tension throughout the claw. So, and when you do adjustments with the claw, it's going to be affected a lot better when you have the springs on the outsides of the claw instead of in the middle. Because then, you know, your axis point, you're only, if you angle the claw like that, you're barely turning it. But this way, it's, you know, there's a lot more to it. So, you want to take this spring off and this spring off, and just have the 3, these ones. And then, you know, you only have to have the claw as tight as it needs to be. Then you come around. You don't have to tighten. You don't even have to mess with the claw at that point. Then when you go to put the strings on, or if your strings are already on, okay, one of the biggest things is they don't really know about this. They don't really think about it when they first work on a Strat. But Stratocaster bridges, right here, they have a slant that comes upwards right here, underneath on the bottom side of the bridge. So if you tighten these screws that are on this top side of the bridge right here, if you tighten them all the way down, it's going to permanently make your bridge stick up like this. No matter what you do, no matter how much you tighten the springs in the back, the bridge is always going to be like that, because there's that slant in that to compensate for when the bridge rocks back and forth. So what you want to do is have the, you know, loosen these to where you can flatten it, and then tighten them just enough to where they're, you know, the bottom of the screw head is touching the bridge, but it's not tightening it down to make the bridge slant upwards. Okay? Once you've done that, tune the guitar up. And once you tune the guitar up, this basically all depends on what you're wanting to do. If you want the bridge flat like this, and you want to use the tremolo, you know, in a way that you're not going to pitch up at all with it with the tremolo, you just want to go downwards, because you want that tuning stability of it being flat on the surface like that, then you just tighten this claw back here as much as it needs to be to flatten out the bridge on the body. And then you're good to go. You tune up your strings again, you're all good. Or tune down the string, whatever. And if you want the bridge to be floating, which floating means that it is just slightly angled, but it's freely angled like that. So what you want to do that way is loosen this claw enough to where when you tighten the strings back up, it will bring the bridge back up. But it's all a balancing act of how tight this is and how tight the strings are that makes however much of the bridge you want up. So if you just want, you know, it's all a balancing act between the two. So you basically have to kind of guess where you want the bridge, you know, how much leeway you want to be able to whammy it upwards. With a Strat, I'd probably keep it flat and just use the whammy bar for tremolo, for going down. I don't really like floating bridges on Strats, because if you float the bridge on a Strat and you're going to be using tremolo a lot on a Strat, one of the biggest things you need to figure out before you even do all this setup is at all the contact points. If you have regular metal saddles, you're going to want to lubricate those right where the string touches. You know, just lubricate them where the string touches. And for this end, the nut, you either want like a tusk nut, a graphite nut, or if you have a bone nut or anything else like that, you like that old school shit, you're going to want to lubricate that with, I recommend Big Ben's nut sauce. I think it's the best, you know, lubricant for guitars. Also, you definitely want to make sure you either have roller string trees or these graphite string trees that you can get from Graphtec. These graphite ones are really great. I have no problems with tuning instability or anything like that. But yeah, you want to have all that set up first, because if you don't have everything nice and lubricated, you're going to use that whammy bar, you know, bend downwards, and then it's going to come back and it's not going to be in tune. You're going to be all fucked off, and you're going to be like, oh, god damn it. Also, an old trick, this is something Jeff Beck does, is if you use, like, for instance, like me, I use 46-9. Okay, it's a hybrid set. So if you like the type of strings where you're a little bit heavier up top but lighter on the bottom, what you want to do to compensate for that is with the claw, you want to have this side kind of tighten just a tad bit more. Just a touch. It doesn't need to be, you know, completely slanted. You just want to have this side just slightly more tight than this side. And that way the tension on the back here is compensating correctly for the tension that's coming from the strings. So when you go and you use the whammy bar and you bend it, everything comes back, right back to where it was perfectly. You know, everything's still in tune. That's how Jeff Beck keeps his shit in tune a lot better. And I've done that with a few people's guitars, and it helped a lot. So for that guy that was having problems, I think you really need to check how tight these screws are in your bridge, because I have a feeling that's probably what's going on with yours. Other than that, stay tuned for me doing some more videos. I'm going to start teaching you guys, you know, different things about setting up your guitars, working on your guitars. It's just a matter of getting ideas, you know, getting people to make suggestions on what they need, what they want to see. Because, you know, I don't want to be the kind of person that just like goes and does basic ass videos for people. You know, if you have problems with any of your guitars or something, you tell me. If I can't just easily, you know, message you back and tell you what's wrong and help you there, fix it that way, I'll make videos about it, and I'll, you know, show everyone what to do. But stay tuned for things like that, because I want to start getting more into that, especially now that I have the tripod and things like that, and this floodlight here. But also, I will be doing more of my my Korn tribute and stuff. I'm not done with that yet. I should finish the Slipknot tribute too, but I don't know. People don't seem to be watching those as much, which I don't really care. You know, I'm not trying to do this channel to be huge or anything, but I do want to help people with setting up their guitars, working on their guitars, and, you know, informing them on what you need to know to work on your guitar yourself, so you don't have to fucking take your guitars into other people. You know what I mean? I refuse to take my shit into other people, so that always forced me to learn what I needed to do to fix a guitar. You know, trial by error is a really good way to learn. It's not cheap, because you fuck up stuff sometimes, but if you can do it, I mean, it's a good way to learn. That's how I learn. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. So stay tuned. There'll be more coming up, hopefully. Send me your suggestions if you have any suggestions, have things you want to know, things you don't know about, things you need help with, and rock the fuck on, guys.